It's a glorious day at Cabinet Joint. I'm Justin, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to install paneling. Now, as you buy paneling from us, the benefit is you are able to get all of the same finishes as you would with our cabinetry, meaning you can match perfectly to the rest of your cabinets in your kitchen or your laundry room or wherever else. This is a decorative item that provides a nice accent to your wall. As well as the finishes, you can also have all of the different profiles as you would with any other cabinet door. This is essentially just a big 5-piece cabinet door, and sizing wise, you can have these up to 8 feet by 8 feet or potentially even larger. You can talk to your cabinet coach about that. Now I will say be careful with your sizing because one, you're gonna have to handle it, and if it's too large, it's gonna be very heavy. And two, remember, just like a door, the larger you get, the less stable that wood will want to be. If you have installed an end panel on your cabinet, it's very similar, except we no longer have access from within the cabinet because obviously we're dealing with a wall here. So in today's video, we're gonna be showing how to install paneling. I have a run of 4 panels here, and we'll be talking throughout the layout, throughout cutting outlets, as well as touching on scribing in today's video. So let's get into it. Now, looking at the tools for this install, I know it may look like a lot, but trust me, the majority of these are things that any homeowner has lying around. I have some clamps. I have a laser level as well as a level. I'm gonna be using both in this video. If you don't have a laser, that makes the process so much easier. You are able to get by with just a level. Painter's tape, a pencil, Phillips head screwdriver, measuring tape, stud finder, and then I have a 5-in-1. You can use a putty knife. I'm just gonna use this for some scraping, a caulk gun, as well as some construction adhesive. Now, I will advise straying away from something like liquid nails. I would look for a construction adhesive that is a polyurethane base. That's just because it's a little more flexible and doesn't get rock hard and allows for these panels to move with the seasons. Wax stick that comes with your project that will be sent through Cabinet Joint, so you don't need to worry about providing that yourself. Spacer blocks here that I'll be used for scribing and spacing. An 18-gauge nail gun with 2-inch brad nails. A drill with a 5/8 drill bit. If you don't have a 5/8 drill bit, you can manage with 1/2 inch. It's just to be able to fit my jigsaw blade. And then so I have a jigsaw here. And then lastly, I have a mallet and some scrap wood here. This is just gonna be a block to hit the paneling with. And then you'll see we're gonna be using a track saw in the video. If you don't have a track saw, you can just use a circular saw. I'd recommend getting some sort of level or straight edge to make sure that cut is nice and straight. And we're also gonna be using a miter saw, but if you don't have a miter saw, you can also use a circular saw. With all that being said, let's get into the installation. We are going to be starting off with this panel here in this corner, and as you can see, there's a lot that needs to be done to it yet. We have an outlet that we'll need to cut out, as well as we'll need to scribe it to the floor and shrink the height. In the back here, you'll see some other panels. Those have already been cut. Those have had the outlet already cut out for it as well. So those will be ready to be installed once I have this all good to go. But the same process that I'm doing for this panel applies to those as well. And then the installation process itself will all be the same. And then we also have this cap molding, and there are multiple profiles, so you can reach out to your cabinet coach to see what all of those options are. But this is the profile that we will be using today. And in terms of the process, it's very similar to installing cabinets. There's gonna be some pre-work that you want to do before you start nailing or before you start screwing or cutting anything. That's why we have our laser set up today. Move this panel out of the way here. First things first, I had to determine my height. And the way I did that is I wanted it to fit underneath this window. And I knew I had that cap that needed to fit underneath the window as well. So I took the thickness of the cap, gave myself a 1/16 of play underneath this window. That way everything for the installation goes smoothly. So determine your height, whether that's using a window, whether that's determining something else in your house. Just determine what height you wanna have. Set your laser level up, or you can use your level if you don't have a laser. And from there, I went and, just like with a cabinet install, measured out my panels just to make sure everything is going to fit, as well as I was looking then where the outlets will land in the panels. If you are doing new construction, I highly recommend thinking this process through of where those outlets will end up landing. Pretty much the main reason actually is just for aesthetics. You don't want one outlet being midway through on one panel and then only maybe say a quarter of the way through on the other one. Personally, I prefer it to be located somewhere in the center floating panel of the larger panel itself. Lastly, I'm going to be marking out studs. So I took my stud finder with my laser and just went ahead and pre-marked all the studs in the room. And then, once again, like a cabinet install, I have my level here with blue tape telling me where the floor is going to be high and where it's going to be low. I just made a quick little story pole. So I can use this to go throughout the room and check on the height. So we're good here. We're good over here. I'm checking, with cabinets you have to check front and back here. Only need to check the back because the panel is only 3/4 thick. And then over here, you can see I'm sitting almost like a 1/4 inch back. So you need to take into account all of these things. If you are running a base molding on top of your panels, you don't need to worry about scribing it at all. You can just lay them level and then you'll have your base or even a shoe mold that will cover any gap. Here, we are going to not have any base, so it just more so depends on your stylistic preference, but that means we need to scribe everything tight to the floor. So I'll do to this panel as I already have with those back there. And one other thing to mention too is if you have any big mud buildup on your wall, you can just go ahead and scrape that off. You don't want anything sticking out on your wall. You want as flat of a surface as possible to work with. And then we'll be able to start applying them to the wall. With the laser setup, I am going to put the panel where I want it. And there's a million ways you can scribe, but for this scenario, what I'm able to do is just flip the panel over. I'm making sure I'm not twisting it at all, but just now the bottom is the top and top is the bottom, and I'm looking at the back. I'm going to mark with a pencil where the laser is hitting. This will give me the exact cut and slope that I need in order to have a level, tight fit to the floor. Once I have that marked, I'll get that out of the way and I will measure for the outlet. And I'm measuring for the outlet based off of fixed points. So I'm not measuring it off where I think it'll land, I'm measuring off of what I know I already have. So I am going to measure off the casing of the door and then off of the laser line, getting both the sides and then both the top and the bottom, making sure my cut will be tight enough to where those wings on the outlet will be able to catch and then be able to screw into the panel. So then I'm going to bring my panel over to my work table. I am going to transfer those lines that I made on the back and put those then to the front. Using a track saw, I'm going to line up my track and then cut. I'm going to cut at about a 20-degree angle just because when scribing, it is best to use a slight back cut. If you don't have a track saw, once again, you can just set up a level or some sort of straight edge and then use your circular saw and cut that. Or if you are scribing something, say it's not straight, you can use your circular saw or a hand plane or really a grinder, whatever tool you need in order to just meet your floor if that is the look that you are going for. If you have a baseboard, once again, you can just skip scribing to the floor altogether. Now that that's cut, I'm going to cut out for the outlet and I'm going to mark on the back. And now just make sure as you are marking, it's really easy to get backwards or mark the wrong side because you're marking it from the back. So just make sure everything's oriented correctly. And I'm making my lines here and then just using a square to connect my dots. And this is where the outlet will be. Then I'm using my drill just to put 2 holes in the corner and then taking my jigsaw and cutting out that rectangle. This cut doesn't need to be perfect because you will have that outlet cover plate over top of it. Now I am bringing it back into the room and making sure everything fits great, which it does. And now I can go ahead and start installing. So I am using that construction adhesive, remember polyurethane based, and squirting it on the back. I'm not necessarily doing it in a super strategic way, but just enough to where all the surface area will be hit. Not putting it on the back of the floating panel because it is sitting within the rails and stiles a little bit, so that glue wouldn't adhere to the wall. So I'm doing it on my rails, on my stiles, gluing that all up, and then pulling my outlet through and then shooting on the top, very close to the very top of the rail because my cap will end up covering that, so I don't need to putty those holes at all. And then on the bottom, I am nailing at the base plate for where the framing is at. I'm going to now be putting on the second and the third panel, following the exact same steps, putting glue on the back and then nailing at the top and the bottom. Make sure you are nailing into some sort of framing, whether it's the bottom plate or the studs, and make sure you're not nailing in the floating panel because that is designed to be floating. You don't want it fixed in any sort of way. Also, you don't want to put more nails than you have to. You want to use as few nails as possible, but you need to also put as many nails as necessary. Nails aren't going to do the heavy lifting. Once that construction adhesive dries, that is what's holding it onto the wall, not your brad nails. I'm going to clamp the stiles together. It's just that way as it dries, it keeps that joint nice and tight. Then moving on to the last one, I am test fitting it here just to make sure it will fit and that I don't need to scribe the side. I lucked out here. All the measurements were perfect and I didn't need to shave a 1/16 or an 1/8 off the side. If I did need to, we have other videos showing you how to scribe and how you can accomplish that. Now that I know that I can fit this final panel in, I will glue it and install it and nail it. After this, I need to go along the bottom and fill my nail holes with the wax crayon that they give you. It's a lot more noticeable when you are eye level and close up, but once you stand up and you take a step back, you can see that it's really not nearly as noticeable. You can spend a lot of time or a little time on it. It's one of those things, it just depends how perfect you want that to end up being. Once all of my nail holes are filled, I'm going to install the outlets. I'm just putting a little 1/2" screw into the panel here and then installing the cover plate. Now that my panels are set, it is all ready to put the cap on. I'm going to put the cap on and just make sure the joint will end up in an inconspicuous place. I'm going to take it over to the miter saw. I'm going to cut a return on it. That way it looks a little bit better on the edge at the door where you'll see it. Make sure that profile turns the corner and looks good. And then at the scarf joint, I'm cutting it at a 22-degree angle. That's personally where I think a scarf joint will look best, but understand there's other angles that people will tell you to, but I'm cutting it at a 22.5. Then I'm cutting my second piece to length, and now I'm ready to fit it all in. Now that I like the fit, it's a nice tight fit, I will go ahead and then just nail through the top of the cap into the wainscoting or into the studs themselves. I'll go back and fill all of those holes with the wax pens, and then I am good to go. And just like that, you have all of your panels as well as your cap installed. It's not too bad of a process at all. The main thing is just making sure as you're measuring that your panels are oriented correctly, that you're measuring from consistent spots, fixed spots, and that if you're scribing, you're taking the right amount off and getting a nice clean fit and making sure that you're not gonna have gaps or anything along the floor. But like I said, if you're putting base molding on there, you don't need to worry about any of that. So make sure everything's level, set your height, and you should be good to go from there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to your cabinet coach or you can call us at 888-211-6482. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.